might as well just react to more music. I gotta react to way more stuff because my catalog is starting to get really repetitive. I stopped paying for Apple Music. Why would I pay for Apple Music when all the music is on YouTube Music as well, and I already have that free with YouTube Premium, which is like one of the best investments ever. All these other social media platforms are literally inferior. And yeah, save time, use YouTube Premium. I wish I had an affiliate code. They used to have an affiliate program for it, but I'd missed out on that. Bro, this is not Yeat. This is the first thing from 2019. This is January 9th, 2019, this dropped. And I'm also gonna be like working in the background. Light work though. Oh, also from last time, that thing that I added, where I'd go through and like try to find the deep lore of the artists. I posted on the Yeat subreddit, and then I got invited to a private subreddit, CEO Lifestyle, which is like more hardcore fans of Yeat. I posted on there too, and nobody replied on either of them.
Kick it, you know I get wicked. You talking the shit on Twitter using cricket. Yes, I'm a stoner, I know I'll admit it. Bitch, yeah, I'm leaning, I pivot. Yo, money tall as a midget. Yeah,
I like this.
Changing the digits. I'm high as fuck like a pigeon.
Yeah, I wouldn't add this to my library. Like, I would listen to this intentionally. I wouldn't do that. But if someone were to put this on in the car, I wouldn't be mad. I'd bump it. I'd be like, all right, cool. It's cool. He seems to be more comfortable with his style. Maybe this song, I feel like this song was probably not the first song that was made in this whole track list. It was probably one of the later songs, but yeah, nothing crazy. I'm hoping to like find some gems in all the stuff that's like very few plays.
I walked in and dropped me a bag on my feet. My family.
His ad-libs work so well for this melody. This melody and the ad-libs have so much synergy. I don't like this part.
There's no we in me, so that bad for me. I'm fresh like Mr. Clean.
There's no we in me. I've noticed with this last song, I wanted to mention it, he's way more focused on lyrics than I would have imagined, which I feel like might be a disadvantage. I feel like it might be a hindrance, because if you're attempting to immerse people in the sound and just and pull like a crazy suspension of disbelief, transport people into like another dimension or whatever, you don't want them to be like mindful. You don't want them to like snap back to reality. You don't want them to like hear a lyric and go like, oh, that was a cool lyric, or be impressed by it or whatever. You just want them to be like immersed, submissive, basically, like submissive mindset, just like accepting the music for what it is, like distracted basically. So yeah, it might be an actual like drawback to focus on the lyrics in this style. He might have also come to that same conclusion. This is an interesting beat, but nothing crazy. Okay. I like this one a little. Melody's got some bounce to it. This one sounds to me like how normies hear Yeat and they're like, oh, he's just trying way too hard to sound all weird and different or whatever. And then it's like a little annoying to hear. That's kind of what it sounds like after it dropped. Dude, mirror exposure effect does this guy wonders. Like every single time I'm not enjoying the song, it's like, it's kind of grown on me after like a minute or two. Not much of this song, but it's like I can still appreciate the fact that he put it out. I hear so many people, so many like times, even my brother in the 2093 reaction, he said something like, oh, I don't like when people just put out like hella songs, they just spam music. It's like, yeah, why would you not like that? Like, you don't have to listen to it. No one's forcing you to listen to that music. Why would you not like when someone puts out more music? You don't like seeing others try until they succeed, and you don't like seeing all those failures. It's actually a form of projection, is what I've noticed. It's musicians will go to the studio, they'll make music, they'll never release it because they're afraid of it looking bad, they're afraid of the audience hating on it, they're afraid of the haters, they're afraid of failure, basically. And they never try because they're afraid of failure. And then people like Yeat, who put out albums the way Alex Pereira fights, they just don't wait too long. Put out 3 albums a year, fight 3 times a year. They see people like this, and it's like, in their mind, a part of their mind feels like, oh, Yeat's not achieving success in the music the way I would want to achieve success in music because I would want everyone to like me. And no one can make everyone like them. If you make everyone like you, that means they're lying. That means they're afraid of criticizing you. And why the hell would you want that? If you want it to be real, if you want people to like you for real, you want to find success for real, you have to accept the haters that come along with it. That's how you know it's real. If anything, that makes it all the more sweeter when you actually do find success. But put out your failures, put out everything. Just express yourself. And for those who resonate with it, cool, they have something to resonate with. And for those who don't bother listening to it. Who cares? There's no downside to dropping music or to seeing an artist drop music. There's no reason to hate someone for having more options for songs that no one's forcing you to listen to. In fact, it gets annoying when people get signed to record labels and those record labels force everyone to hear those songs, shove it down everyone's throats, played in every gym, played in every grocery store, played in every supermarket. That's when it's annoying. And those record labels only put out projects to succeed. They're only doing it to succeed. You as an artist, if you have that kind of attitude, you're no better than the record labels that you criticize. You just don't have the power that they have and the money that they have. But if you did, you would be doing the same thing because you care about winning. You care about finding success with it rather than just expressing yourself and expecting success to follow. And that's what I would tell these people. Don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about making your reactions good to UFC fights and all this stuff. Don't worry about trying to make the music perfect and appeal to the mainstream and trying to promote the most mainstream sounding song and all this stuff. Like, just put your art out there. Just put it out. That's why I can have a respect for these kinds of songs. And that's why I give Yeat so much more leeway than other artists. And I do have standards where if this was like most other artists, at least, I would go like, yeah, no, this song sucks. And I do think this song kind of sucks. But I want to give the leeway of like, is it listenable? Oh, well. If it's not, I'm not going to add to my library. No harm, no foul. Because I don't want to be like, I don't want to be a hater. The way that like my brother was in that 2093 video, I don't want to be a hater where like my brother will see people like me who can appreciate artists for what they put out and learn to look past their failures. And my brother can't comprehend that because he can't break out of that himself as a consumer. He can't look past another artist's failures and appreciate their successes for what they are. He goes, no, I'm going to hate him more. I'm going to hate him more and more and more. And they actively trash these artists as a way of like coping, as a way of like counterbalancing, and as a way of like testing, like, oh, do y'all really like him? I'm going to make this guy a hated artist. Like, let's see how much longer you guys like his music when you're looked at as being a fool for liking his music, or when you're looked at as being like a mainstream, you know, oh, you like this like brain dead, brain rot sound. Let's see how long you like him when people judge you for it. It's like, dude, not everyone lives their life based on what people think of them. Not everyone chooses to put out art or not put out art based on audience reaction. Some people actually just care about expressing themselves, and they value other people who also break the mold and find success just by expressing themselves. I felt like mentioning that goes into like other arguments that I have for other ideas and things like that, other philosophies that I have. I'm rambling a little. I just wanted to put that out there. That's the sauce right there, bro. That's the sauce. If you ever seen that Indian movie, Three Idiots, there's such a great quote in that movie that's, I'm sure, been said by a million different people, but I learned it from that movie. It was, don't chase money, chase excellence, and money will chase you. And excellence is it's a translation error. The movie's in Hindi. The subtitles are probably different on different websites and different pirated versions, but that's what it was in the movie theater. But I interpret it as like, chase your dreams, chase your calling, chase what resonates with you and what you're like, I can do this. Not many people can do this. I can contribute something here. I can create something great here. Chase that, and the money will chase you. Hopefully, maybe. If we all do it, then the money will chase it. The more people we get to do it, the more money will be available to go to the people who actually like actually chase their calling, rather than everything being gatekept by like record labels and people, businessmen in suits who don't actually make music, who are just leeching off of these things. It's like, nah, take the music industry back and like take it back for us, for the people who actually like care about music and care about creating. I generally find that like people like my brother who will like criticize Yeat don't care about that kind of thing. In fact, they want to partner with them. They want to just join the winning side rather than actually make the side that deserves to win. They're like, oh yeah, I totally signed to a record label. I don't mind signing to a record label depending on the deal. Screw the record labels, bro. Yeah, I'm saying that, and Yeat made his own record label not before he dropped his project. It was before he dropped the project Alive, which was the first project that I like legit reacted to. He made his record label Twizzy Rich. But all this to say a few things, but I'm not going to say all those things. But the point that I'm going to make with this is, despite the fact that most of these songs are going to be not worth listening to more than once, they were still worth putting out. If it's worth doing at all, then it's still worth doing badly. it's still worth doing as an amateur, as a beginner or whatever. I was literally just with my cousin, and she's a modern woman, so she I predicted, I knew it was gonna happen, where like some kid would like fall and then she would like fake laugh, like pretend to laugh as if to like put people down. But laughing at that kind of stuff is like, you can laugh at someone's failures, but laughing when someone's an amateur or a beginner, like everyone, even the best in the world, were amateurs and beginners at some point. There's not anything to laugh at because it'll affect everyone. If like a really good person falls, yeah, laugh at it, absolutely. But I knew she was gonna do that fake laugh, and me and her sister, the whole time, we were roller skating, and we were getting better and better and better, like progressing. And the entire time, this girl is stuck holding on to the thing. The whole time. We're there for like 30 minutes to an hour. It's time warps and acts in weird ways when you're having fun like that. So I actually don't even know how long we were there. But yeah, that whole time, she didn't progress at all. And I'm like, yeah, because you're scared to look like a beginner, because you're scared to fall. Don't be so scared to fall. Be scared to fall if it'll hurt you, but you're 13. You'll heal in 10 seconds. So like, if you're scared to look like you're at the bottom of the mountain, you'll never make it to the top, because you have to be at the bottom first. Part of making music is putting it out there and seeing the audience reaction and getting familiar with this kind of thing. And when I see artists just make music and never put it out, I'm like, it's just pathetic. There's nothing noble or valuable or anything like that in keeping your music catalog tucked away. And my brother's entire music catalog got deleted, most of it. Like, it got corrupted files. And I don't want to say like, oh yeah, good. But you know what? Kind of good. There's kind of an upside to that. And I told him, when it got corrupted, I told him, I'm like, you should have just released it to YouTube. You should have just dropped it on YouTube. Oh, some of those songs weren't finished. So, live stream it. If it's not finished, still upload it to YouTube. Then you can go back at least on the songs that you actually care about finishing, and going like, oh, well, at least I have the ideas saved, so I can go back and replicate those ideas again. Maybe even expand on them more, maybe even have a different perspective. It could lead to a whole different adventure. Every door opens up, every adventure opens up when you just start releasing your music. And Yeat is a counter to that. I'm glad Yeat is successful because he proves that this works. So that's my justification for giving him so much credit, giving him so much leeway, and being willing to put up with so many songs that even I would be like, this is trash coming from any other artist. But this one does suck. But I can appreciate the fact that he's trying to innovate and do new things and throw new ideas out there, marginally, little by little, test out new, like, it's not branches of music, but it's like stems off of branches that other people have already made. Test out, poke and prod at like the meta of the music game, you know? I can appreciate that. The one thing it's not the one thing, there's a few things, and I'll go through them as I like notice them or whatever. But one of the things that I don't like about Yeat, honestly, is still to this day, this persists, I think. I didn't really give like a proper listen to his newest stuff, but he cares too much about designer. Like, he promotes that too much. You can promote it a little when you actually genuinely like the fashion. But when it's like, nah, don't shop here because like you're broke and it's like cheap stuff. It's like, nah, shout out good stuff and shit on the bad stuff. But like most of the time, the stuff that's like super expensive is actually pretty trash. Like, call that out, you know? If you're gonna like shout out other like consumption, money wasting, time wasting things that like so easily let people fall into the trap of like caring about what people think of them and like being self-conscious, like looking at themselves like in the mirror. Oh, how people... Nah, don't promote that kind of thing, you know? He promotes all these drugs and all that stuff, and like that's a conversation for a different time. That conversation needs to be opened up, honestly. The honest and actual value of drugs in society, and the blurred line between drugs and sustenance and like food. I was just thinking about this earlier. We criticize athletes for taking performance enhancing drugs because the guys at the bottom can't compete. The broke guys can't get into the sport because if they want to compete, they also have to pay for performance enhancing drugs. And it's like, what if we accept it in the future one day because it gets cheaper? Because it becomes legal and everyone is able to do it. At that point, will we accept it? Do we only not accept these things because of the inaccessibility factor? That's a noble reason to not accept it. But what happens in the future when it becomes way more accessible and everyone can take performance enhancing drugs? Because I'm thinking about it, would people have said the same thing about getting 3 meals a day and all this like nutritional value that we have access to if this was 500 years ago? Oh, how can you be an athlete? Athletes are not allowed to eat this food and this food. They have to stick to eating lentils and stuff like that like the rest of us, you know? They can't eat the the nicest, most nutritionally dense foods, because not everyone has access to that. Maybe there's an element of that to it. It was just an idea that I had. What the hell was I talking about? What was the point I was trying to make? Oh yeah, designer clothes. Don't shout out designer clothes. Even him rapping about drugs, I don't think is as bad as rapping about designer clothes. I know it's crazy to say. I'm aware of why Juice WRLD died, but this is the kind of thing that's like, I don't want to just make a statement just outright. I would want to dive further into like the nuances of it, you know? And you're being disingenuous and jumping the gun a little bit if you're not willing to at least have that conversation. But at the very least, Yeat, stop rapping about designer clothes, whatever. I mean, if it's cool, then like, okay, stop rapping about designer clothes just because they're expensive. Bro, that's a lot of silence at the end of the song. All right, 37,000 plays. That's crazy to see a Yeat song that only has 37,000 plays. I like these 808s. Other than that, I don't really like the rest of the song, to be honest. Bro, again, who's producing these songs? Ah, that one was... You only hear this stuff when people first start making music. In the first 2 years, you hear stuff like this. Otherwise, you never hear this. Which it's like, again, it speaks to my point from earlier. It's like, it's okay to put this stuff out. It's fine. But, man, this is not listenable, dude. No, that was trash, dude. That was trash. The fact that you approved this? Come on, bro. Were you not listening to your own music? See, it's also an amateur that's willing to throw these kinds of things in there and maybe throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and then happen to catch lightning in a bottle. I can't discount the fact that maybe that part from earlier where it sounded like there was a bug in my ear. Who knows? Maybe some maniac out there actually likes that part. But this part's actually, there's a bit of a pleasing factor to this female vocal and then that like really like stringy note. Bro, turn the shit, bro. Oh, you just learned FL Studio 6 months ago, but it's like totally like, yeah, cool, put it out. I'm not gonna listen to it again, but you can't hold this kind of thing against somebody. If anything, there's a bit of comedy to it. There's a bit of like, if I meet Yeat, I'm playing this in the car with him, dude. I'll actually confront Yeat about it. I don't know if people do this kind of stuff to him. It seems like he improves at a relatively stable rate. So he probably has people around him that are not just yes men. Throw mine in there, I'll insult him, see how he reacts. If I end up meeting him, which I may never end up meeting him, but you never know. FaZe met Yeat one time. I mean, it was through Icebox, and he's kind of more focused on like locking and hustling now. But he did meet Yeat. This is actually so weird to hear because every artist was making music like this, and it's like, this reminds me of that one Wintertime Z song. Man, everyone was making music like this. Famous Dex, Ugly God, all these people were making stuff like this, and you're like, yeah, he's like a year late to this style. But if I had heard this in 2017, 2018, maybe 2019, I was ahead of the curve when it comes to music. Everyone in Atlanta is. If I'd heard this maybe in 2019, possibly, I probably would have actually enjoyed it and actually like added it to my library. Maybe. It is one of these like, these songs have become so ubiquitous and so formulaic, they're brain rot at this point. But yeah, throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks. This seems like it blew up back then. I don't see this blowing up today. I don't see this being like Yeat blew up and then people came back and they started listening. They came through, listened to all this, and then this had like a second win. I think this got like 1 million plays or whatever across the board collectively, and like Apple Music and Spotify and all this stuff. I think it probably got good plays back then, and this may be one of the factors that contributed to him going like, oh shit, like this could work. 1 out of 7 of my songs is actually like doing pretty well, you know? Oh, that was sick. Bro, his confidence in his delivery, this is a weird instrumental. This is actually good. This reminds me, honestly, kind of like a Lucki type beat. Not so much Young Nudy, maybe like the beat, sure, but like his vocals are just too weird, too airy. Airy's the wrong word, because Yeat can also be described as very airy. Not right now. Yeat right now is very dense. And Lucki is very dense but very smooth. So, I don't know. I'll say analogies like this a lot. Maybe it'll make more sense in the future. Maybe I'll come up with a better one rather than describing like qualities of a hot drink or something. I don't know. This reminds me of a Lucki type beat. Alright, yeah. I got a little bit of work done. Okay, I gotta create a workflow. If I want to start to add ideas and start to do them every time, I gotta create a workflow. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work on a workflow after this, and then maybe I'll make a workflow not only of reacting to music, but in the off chance that I maybe get to collaborate with musicians and talk to them, reaching out to them. I'll make a workflow for that as well. A bullet points list of just like, all right, every time I link up with artists, I gotta do this, I gotta take them here, all this stuff, you know?